Hey, what's up everyone? So let me show you the most effective way of doing a value study. So this is the reference that I am going to be using, and my sketch is also ready right here. So what we are going to do in this value study is we are going to limit ourselves to only 6 values, which are the shadow, the light, the midtone, the highlight, the bounce light, and the occlusion shadow. And these 6 values are what we are going to use to create our painting. So the first thing that we are going to do is identify our light shape and shadow shape. So if you look here in this reference, it is pretty obvious, the light shapes and the shadow shapes. These are my shadow shapes. This one big shape right here. And there are other here, right here, under the nose, the lips. So this is the shadow shapes, and everything else is the part of the light shapes. So that's the first thing that we need to identify. And now all we have to do is paint it. So I want to paint the background first. So the background is pretty dark, so I'm going to select a darker color, pretty dark color. You need to select this brush and first create the background. Okay, so this is our background. Now, why did I paint the background first? Well, it will give you a better idea about your lighting. Now let me paint the light shapes and the shadow shapes. Okay, so my light shape and shadow shapes are ready, and I would suggest to you that you paint this with a hard tone brush for more effectiveness. And now I'm going to paint the mid value. So what's the mid value? So if you look here, this face, you see that this face is turning from light to shadow, and this is the area where the light turns into shadow. This part here is a light and this is the shadow, and the area in between is what we call the mid value or the half tone. And how do you find the half tone? Well, it is basically in the middle of the shadow and the light. So just go 50%. That means if this is 100 and this is 0, then this will be 50. So in my painting, this is the shadow, this is the light, so the mid value will be somewhere right here. This is the mid value. The mid value shape can be a little bit challenging to find, but if you pay closer attention to this reference, you will see that there are these small values right here on the nose, right here on the cheek, right here. These values are mid values. This is the light, the bright part of this face is the light, and this part are the mid values. So let me paint in the mid value. Okay, so the mid value is also in place, and now what I want to paint are the occlusion shadows. So these dark areas right here on the ear, the nose, these areas on the lips, these are what you call the occlusion shadows. These are supposed to be the darkest part of the painting. So I'm going to first select the shadow value and then go darker. So occlusion shadow is also done, and now it's time for the bounce light. So the bounce light are basically the light that hits the wall or any surface and then bounces off and then hits your face. And if you look at this reference, you can see these lighting. They are called the bounce light, and the bounce light are mostly visible in the shadow side and not the light side. And the bounce light is always going to be less intense than the light side. If I select this area and I take this right here, you can see how dark this bounce light is. So I will just select the shadow color right here and then go just a little bit up in value, and that should give me a bounce light value. So let's paint it. Okay, so the bounce lights are also done, and the only thing that's left is the highlights. So the highlights are the brightest part of the painting. So if you look at the reference, you can see some of these areas right here on the nose, right here on the cheeks, on the lips. These are the highlights. So let's paint it. Okay, so there you have it, and this is how you do a value study, and I have found this to be very effective. And if you want, you can take it to the finish, but yeah, as a value study, this is completely fine. And once you're good at painting with 6 values, you can just increase the numbers to like 7, 8, 9 or 10. So this is it for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.